My name is Mike Jones, and I'm a barista at Third Rail Coffee, right by Washington Square Park in New York City. I'm going to teach you some basic coffee making skills. I'm going to show you how to make pour-over iced coffee using the Chemex. Now, this is a really delicious way of making iced coffee because it maintains the acidity and all the exciting flavors that you can find in the bean, as well as being cold and refreshing. So what I've done is already pre-wet the filter to get that paper taste out, like I did with the hot Chemex. And then I added some ice to the base. Now what you use is one quarter of the total amount of water that you're going to want to use as the ice. So for instance, if I wanted to use 400 grams of water when brewing a Chemex, I would use 100 grams of ice and 300 grams of hot water. So I'm doing this on a scale to make it easier, but you definitely don't need one, it just simplifies your life. So I'm going to go ahead and grind the beans. I'm using 23 grams or 3 even tablespoons. So you're going to want to grind slightly finer than you did with the hot Chemex, just a little bit though. The reason for this is since you're using less water, you want to extract more out of the beans. With the finer grind, there's less surface area, so it extracts faster. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead, get some hot water ready. If you're using a tea kettle on the stove, you just want to let it sit for a little bit off the boil. Water for brewing coffee should be around 200 degrees. So I'm going to start off by adding just enough water to wet the grounds. And let it sit for 30 seconds. And for the iced, I like to give it a stir right after adding that first amount of water. Again, this is because since we're using less water, we want to make sure we're still extracting the same amount out of the coffee. And by adding turbulence, that speeds up extraction. So after 30 seconds, go ahead and add the rest of the water. You're just going to be pouring slow concentric circles, rotating out but never pouring down the actual wall of the filter. And then finishing up right in the center. So once we've added the water, I'm going to give it one more stir, just making an X, and then 2 full stirs. Then we wait for it to drain. With this method, the ice at the bottom will actually completely melt once it's finished brewing into there. And then you'll transfer it over a cup full of ice. Alright, so once it's finished, I'm going to take that filter off. I want to make sure we don't let the grounds in there dry out. And then just kind of swirl the Chemex around, melting the rest of the ice. Now you can use this method with any number of pour-over devices, but it's especially great with the Chemex because it's all contained. And then you just pour over a glass full of ice. You can give it a stir or a swirl just to make sure it's perfectly chilled. And then you have some nice pour-over iced coffee.